How's it going today? Today we're going to talk about, I get this question a lot, and about how do I find these companies that go up a lot or 10x, because I have quite a few of them on my YouTube channel that's went up 5, 6. I think Shopify's been up 7 times, 8 times, or whatever, and I have quite a few. So I get a lot of comments of how do I find these? How do I look for them? So I'm going to I basically call them the 7 signs that I look for. It's really not a science. It's kind of an art per se. I mean, it takes, eventually you could just say, that's a good company. It's just like, and someone comes up to me and goes, that's a bad company. Or you say, what about this company? I could tell you in about 5 seconds if it's a good or bad company. And what I mean by that is, it's just like when a lot of people were asking me about airlines. Everybody was asking me about airlines, what I thought about airlines. And I said, no. I don't like airlines because it didn't pass all these 7 signs, because my goal is to have the highest return possible. I don't look for good stocks. I look for the best stocks, because I can allocate any of my money into any stock. I can buy any stock on the whole, the stock exchange. So shouldn't I want the best? So essentially I was thinking, is Southwest the best stock that I can put? Can Southwest go up 10 times? Maybe not. Versus maybe the Trade Desk. The Trade Desk can go up 10 times or 11 times. Or the Shopify, Or the next Shopify. I use them stocks because, them are the ones everybody knows and everybody likes, per se, but there's anything. But anyway, this is the 7 signs of a 10Xer or 10 bagger, or what you call it. Basically, rule number 1, it's a good company. It has to be a good company. It can't be a junk company. I never recommended any stock on this channel that I think sucks. If it's a horrible company and making stupid products and stupid things, I don't recommend it. I don't care how much it went up. I don't care if it's some penny stock that I don't like and don't know what it does and don't understand it, but it's went up a lot. I don't recommend it. It has to be a good fundamental company. It has to be maybe a stock like, let's say, Shopify. Shopify is, I'm going to use that one a lot. If you don't know what the company is, I go leave a link in Shopify and why I like it. And I've used Shopify. I had a Shopify store. I know the company's good. I love the company. To start an online business, let's say you want to sell something online and you want to, maybe you have maybe a clothing or whatever. I don't know. I sold a bunch of t-shirts and kitchenware and stuff like, well, not kitchenware, but it was more like, we designed t-shirts and stuff like that, and they were kind of funny. They were coffee mugs, stuff like that. It was kind of back in 2016 where everybody was kind of doing that, and it was a drop shipping type. Well, it wasn't drop shipping, but anyway, bottom line is I used the company. I actually sold the company on there too. And it was so easy, they made it easy. So I was like, of course I'm going to buy Shopify in 2016. It's a good company, and it follows about every single time. It's a good company, it's great. If you ever use it, I always recommend it. Everybody says, how do I start an online business? Use Shopify, go to Shopify, and that's what it is. But anyway, next one is number 2 is a growing industry. Think of Shopify. What is growing? Everything's going online. It's the digitalization. So who's the leader? And I look at the leader of that growing industry. A lot of times I don't look for the company. I look for the industry that's growing. Think about all the digital advertisement that's going on right now. Everything is getting digitalized. So I just find those companies that are digitizing, and that's what I do. To find these companies that have big growth potentials, like Shopify, the Trade Desk, with digital advertisement. They're slowly moving on to the advertisement play. They're slowly moving on to it, and they're going to be big. Square is another one. It's kind of the cashless society. Everybody's moving away from cash, and everybody's like money transfer. I was reading this thing. A lot of landlords are not even accepting cash. You basically get the Cash App, and it sends it to them directly. Some places are doing that. It's like, wow, that is changing all. And you go to a flea market. It's like, I have a little thing on my phone, and that's a growing industry. So you just find the best. What company does that? And it's growing. Is it a good company? Is it not fraud and junk? No. So there it goes with those 2. Now, the next one is it's a small company. Now, here's where it eliminates a lot of companies. Like Tesla. Is it a good company? Sure. Elon Musk is one of the best, CEOs and stuff. Tesla is a good company. They have cool cars. Their cars are good. And is it a growing industry? Yeah. Electric cars is growing. But is it under $10 billion in market cap? No. That's where it fails. And that's why a lot of these companies, you kind of scan them out. Because let's say Tesla with 10x from where it's at. Okay. That's it's at 600 billion now. So that you're saying it's a $6 trillion company? Unlikely. I don't see it getting there. It might, but the hell, that's a big, big jump. I mean, that is massive versus a company that's at 5 billion and it can go to 50 billion. I mean, Shopify, when I was buying it, it was only a $3 billion company. It was $3 billion. In 2016, that's how much it was. Now it's like 100 billion. You know what I mean? And say it was the Trade Desk. The Trade Desk was small. It was like, I think it was like 6 or 7 billion when I was buying it. It was a $6 billion company. And now it's like almost 60. So it just has to go from 6 to 60. That's a lot. That's easier to do than go to 700 billion, all the way up to like 7 trillion. No, that's massive. So anyway, so that's why it has to be small. Now the next one is founder-led and great CEO. Founder-led is like Jeff Bezos. Think of Jeff Bezos. He owns Persona, and this is kind of like he has skin in the game. And you can look on this on Yahoo Finance. It's like insider holding. Elon Musk has skin in the game. A lot of these companies, Reed Hastings of Netflix, Jeff Green of the Trade Desk, I think the Shopify, I think all of them own shares. They have skin in the game. They own the stock. So they're not guided by the stock, but they're aware of it because that's their net worth. It's in the stock. Their heart and soul and their money. They put the money where their mouth is. A lot of these companies, they have CEOs, but they don't own stocks of the company. It's like, it's a good company and I should invest, but you don't invest. It's like, man, you should know. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they should own 100% of the company. Obviously not, but at least 5, 6, maybe 10% like Jeff Bezos. But anyway, and another thing is I think long-term. A lot of times it takes years for these stocks to do well. Hell, just like I tell you a stock right now that I've never recommended on my channel, and I wish I would have, was Stitch Fix. That was a company. It was growing. It's kind of growing into this thing. It was a small company, and I've been holding that thing for about 2 years now. And it was negative for 2 years. I lost 70% on that stock. I bought it at 40 and it went all the way down to like $8 a share. And now it's like at 70. You can look at the chart. Or another one I recommended is Upwork. That thing lost 70% of its value. I picked it at like 20 and it went all the way down to like $6 or $5 a share. And that thing got killed. And if I would have sold out, I would have not gained all that money. And now Upwork is like, what, $40 a share? It's doubled from where I originally bought it. And I just buy and hold it. And I could buy and hold that thing for years. I probably won't never sell it. That's kind of the goal. If it's a real good company, why sell it? Why sell Apple? Why buy in and sell it? Because eventually they're going to start paying dividends. And start paying some of that money out. So think long term. And a lot of people, that's why they fail at it. That's why they can't get the 10Xers. They might double their money, and that's okay. You can double your money. Okay, you have 1,000, now you have 2,000. But, they don't get those massive gains, because they don't think long term. They want to get in and get out. Oh, man, I made $20, or I made 20% on my money. Like, good. That's okay. I'm glad. But you're not going to get the 10Xers. You're not going to get the Shopifys. I've been holding that for 5 years. Or NVIDIA is another company. It passes all these. Well, at the time it did. it's a bigger company now. But it was a good company. I loved NVIDIA product. I had a computer that I built for gaming. And I used their GPUs. It was great graphics. It was my computer. I spent a lot more money than I should have on it. But it was great graphics. It was a growing industry. Everybody's making PCs. At the time, it was under, I think it was, maybe that was a $12 billion company. At the time, great, it was founder-led. That was that Young, or whatever the guy's name, the South Korean. And it was think long-term. And it has the Netflix effects. With some of these companies, they don't. But what I call the Netflix effect is basically, think of Netflix. What is it? It's cheaper and better. I say that again and again. If it's cheaper and better, the market's going to go right to it. Think of Uber. I mean, Uber is one of these things. It's better than taxis because I can do it on my phone and do all this, and it's cheaper. If you make something that's cheaper and better, you're going to have one hell of a company. Think of Netflix. A long time ago, back in early 2000s, what'd you have to do to watch a movie? Satellite TV. And that stuff is expensive, $100 a month or whatever it was. And then Netflix goes, hey, you know what? I got a great idea. We're going to digitize it. I mean, they kind of went to CDs in the mail. But once again, they were kind of thinking. And then you're like, you know what? Let's put it all on the internet and charge them for $8 a month. $8 a month versus $100. And you can watch movies ad-free. Like, that is cheaper and better. You know what I mean? That's why I call it the Netflix effect. And a lot of times with Shopify, because people don't know how revolutionary Shopify is, if they had to build a website in the 90s. You know, you have to define all these software developers, or you had to get accountants and all of this and do these domain names and all that. And Shopify's made that 10 times easier. A lot, well, I won't say 100 times easier. Because you don't have to hire anybody. You have to basically pay them a monthly subscription, and they have their own like thing. You know, and the other thing is, the last one is the 7, is winners keep winning. Normally these good companies, they keep doing well. They keep doing good. You know what I mean? They just keep getting better. It's just like Netflix. When Netflix came out, it was okay. We didn't have all the movies, but now guess what happens? They're like, hey, you know what I mean? Let's do this. Now they have their own, with that Queen Gambit, you know, the Tigers and the Tiger King. They have their own original content that people just watch Netflix for the original content, and it's getting better. Like, these companies, they keep getting better products. You know what I mean? Like Shopify. First, you couldn't, you had to get your payment system. Now it's doing payments and loans, and they just keep doing better and better, and eventually the stock will show for that. So basically that's what it is. What signs of 10Xers. I have a bunch of them on my channel that normally they do, and you run through the companies that I recommend. The majority of them, they have about all those 7 or some of them don't. Like I said, with number 3 is under small $10 billion company. I mean, some of them companies, they're above it that I recommend, but the majority of the big winners, they're smaller companies when I recommend them. That's why I say, hey, don't buy Netflix or really Amazon. You know, Amazon's kind of up there. You know, it's almost a $2 trillion company, and that's why I don't really recommend it. But when I don't recommend it, that doesn't mean it's a bad company and it's going bankrupt. I feel like you can have a good company, but you don't want to own the stock. You can have that. You know, you don't have to go, oh, I like the company, so I have to buy the stock. It's like, no, you can like the company and say it's a good company. It's like Netflix. I don't own Netflix. You know what I mean? But is it a good stock? Is it a good company? Yeah, I like Netflix. I watch it once a week probably. But I don't own the stock, and I like, you know, a lot of those companies like that. You know, I like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, but I don't own the stock. You know what I mean? I drink Pepsi all the time and Coca-Cola, you know. But I don't own the stock. I eat McDonald's, but I don't own the stock because it doesn't fit all these things. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? McDonald's is a good company. Is it a growing industry? Not really. It's actually a declining industry. But anyway, hopefully you like this video. I don't want to make it too long. Make sure you leave a comment, questions, all that. I could try to get to them, hopefully. Maybe I'll make a video. I like making a video, so I don't really like typing long answers. I just kind of make a video on it. But anyway, thank you for watching.